Good morning. Good morning. I am 15 minutes late. It is all my fault. I did not have my phone on me. I don't know what day it is, what time it is. And I came downstairs real quick and I see like a missed call from Emery and is everything okay? And I'm thinking, of course everything is okay. And I don't know if I had it in my head at 12 o'clock. I don't know. But anyway, happy freaking Friday. I am so sorry for being late. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk with Karen and Emery. And Emery is on with me, right? Emery, you here, Mama?
I'm here, Mama.
Good morning. Again,
Good morning.
my apologies. I don't know. I went in the zone, and the zone got me. And I have been doing my best to stay away from my phone more.
Uh-huh.
I told you, I think we had this conversation because you love
Yes.
your watch. And
Yes.
as I mentioned to you, I would have my watch on and I was a slave to my phone. And I said, I need to learn how to, disconnect a little bit better. And I go into my zones and I got a new wig that I have to review. And I was in my room customizing it. And I'm like,
You were in your zone.
doo, 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 doo. And when I came downstairs and saw my phone, I also have 17 other text messages. It's just so funny because it's just the way it is, right? Like you could be with your phone in your hand and nothing happening. And it's like, is this thing on? Does it work? Like, is it even? And then you leave it alone for 10 minutes and walk away and everybody and their mother is trying to get in touch with you.
Yep. That's how it is. That's life.
So good morning and happy Friday. Thank you guys for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen and Emery. We are live on Podbean. Make sure you hit that like button, share it out. I see Orlando is here. Good morning. I know I am so sorry. It's not like me to be like that. And Orlando's like, I was worried.
Me too.
I'm
I was
sorry.
worried too. That's why I
Sorry.
said, is everything okay? Because
Yeah, it's not like me.
yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I know. And you know what? I apologize. You want to laugh? I did my scrolling this morning on Instagram and there was a guy that was saying that you can reset your vagal nerve. And I did it and I was like, because I've had a headache, like I haven't been right for a couple of days. And I'm like, he's like, it'll relieve your headache. It'll do this. It'll do that. I think it made me like mushad. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm in another dimension.
you
Anyway,
don't feel like yourself anymore.
I don't know. I can't say for sure, what the hell happened here. But anyway, here
Well,
I am.
at least everything's okay and you're not late because something bad happened
It's
or
very true.
some kind of emergency happened. So
No.
I'm relieved. Okay. So okay.
It was
We're
just,
here.
it was me. I was in a zone somewhere far, far away and I am back. So we're talking about today, how do you meet people, right?
Right.
So what are you typing? What's going on back there?
Believe it or not, I am mixing honey with lemon so I can eat it.
Oh, is your throat bothering you or you have a
It
performance?
has been. It has been. No, I don't have a performance, but it's like I constantly feel like I have to clear my throat and it's becoming like annoying. So I'm like, let me try some, that the old remedy of
Yep.
honey and lemon and see if that'll help. So here I go. I'm
Oh,
gonna have my lemon and my
okay.
honey.
There you go. Well, it's allergy season at its best
Hmm.
right now, so everybody is feeling something. I did the neti pot earlier, so I'm with you on that one.
Oh, I've been flow nasing like crazy, and
And that too.
I usually don't have an issue with with allergies, but for some reason there is something in the air. Something's going around.
Yeah, well, hello, welcome to the world. It is
Oh
what it
my
is.
God.
So
In
now
fact,
you
I'm
got it.
gonna go.
I'm sorry.
Go
What were you?
ahead. And I'm saying, in fact, I'm gonna go spray my nose right now with some Flonase, and then we're gonna have a little talk.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Of the topic
we're
of
gonna
the
play.
day.
Well, yes, you said that there was that you had, it was a funny story and you had to tell it. And so just so you guys that are listening right now know, like, this is not like pre-performed, so to speak, and
It's
so
not
forth.
scripted. It's not
Right.
scripted.
And so I said to Emery, you know what? Don't tell me. I want you to tell me when we're on the show, because I want to, be able to react, authentically,
Right.
and so forth. So, we came across, she said to me, "Oh, honey, I have a story to tell you." And, and then when she told me the premise, I'm like, okay, so that's where we're going to go with the topic today. So now tell me
It
your
is it
story.
is quite the story, because whenever I tell it to people, and it's terrible that I can't actually, like, you can't see me so that I can really act this thing out, but I'm going to try my best to say that story and put the image in your head.
Okay.
So I'm going to start from the end and work my way to the beginning, because I think you'll get a better feeling and understanding of, how you can't make this up. So
Okay. Okay.
I have a hairdresser. She's in Beacon, New York. Now, I'm not going to mention the names of these individuals because you'll know why. So I got my hair cut this
I
past.
don't like to mention names anyway.
Right,
In
exactly.
general.
But we don't need to, because it's going to be a cool story. Anyway,
Right.
so I got my hair cut this Wednesday, right?
Okay.
And my girl, she's out in Beacon, New York. I live in Westchester, so it's about a half an hour drive. And I don't mind it, because I don't know if you've been to Beacon, but it's a really cute town. It gives you like Manhattan Village vibes. The people, the little cafes and the little mom and pop stores. So it's really a really cool town, and it's a nice drive. So I don't mind driving 30 minutes. And when you have someone who knows how to work your hair, you will travel.
Right.
So yeah. So, okay. So when I'm sitting in the chair and she's telling me, "Oh, I'm gonna move to Florida," and I said, "No freaking way. What am I gonna do
Right.
with my hair?" When you have somebody that does your hair for years, and she's good at it, what the hell now you got to go on the hunt, and that's not
Right.
easy, because
Right.
we're like Goldilocks out here trying to find the right person, hairdresser,
Well, to interrupt you, that's a very personal thing. I mean,
It is.
I told you I'm a licensed hairdresser, and
Oh,
I in the business since I was in my early 20s, my mid 20s, and I am still cutting people's hair for like 30 years. And like, it's like where they're, like it's like getting a new doctor, like
exactly.
it's not,
Exactly.
people don't go about that easily.
I mean, because you're touching them, and, you're styling them and grooming them literally. So it is a personal relationship,
Yeah.
So the way I met this woman is pretty amazing, because so I grew up in the Bronx, and I had long hair when I was in the Bronx. There was no need to cut my hair, but I did go to the hair salon to get it blown straight, when I didn't feel like doing it. When I moved to Westchester, I decided I want to cut my hair, because
Uh-huh.
it's just too much to handle, and I wanted something simple. So
Right.
I try to stay as local as I possibly can. I,
Hmm.
I found this little hair salon right by my house. I go there. The girl, I tell her what I want. And, it was okay. When I walked out of there, I wasn't like really disappointed, but it wasn't like, oh, I feel gorgeous. Heads are going to turn when I walk outside. It wasn't like that kind of haircut. I was like, she's all right. So the next time I go back to the salon, she wasn't available. So I go to a different girl. I said, "Oh, it's okay. Give me somebody available." So I go to another girl. Again, here we go. Just an all right haircut, blah, blah, blah. I walk out of there. Third time the charm. I go back there to the same hair salon, because, like I said, I like to stay local.
Hmm.
So there's this girl, not going to name her, but she took her time. We talked. She looked at my hair. She touched my hair, like I got a good vibe from her. Beautiful young girl, real skinny, skinny, skinny. She nailed it. She took what I told her and multiplied it by 100. I walked out of there feeling sexy, beautiful, confident. Heads are going to turn.
Nice.
People are going to compliment me. And that's what you want when you walk out of a salon. That's that feeling that you want, you know, and that's how you know you got your girl.
Yep.
So I said, that's it. This is my girl. I got myself a new hairdresser. I can't wait to see her again. The next few times she did my hair, you know, and we're talking about like 6 months later, sometimes a year later, because I'm not that person that goes to the salon every week. I haven't colored my hair since I was 27. I got like maybe 5 gray hairs. So why would I color my hair, you know? So anyway, but that's, I haven't had to color my hair. So
all right. We heard you the first time.
I don't go to the salon all the time. All right. So 6 months later, I go to this girl again and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get my hair cut, sit in the chair. And she, same girl, you know, skinny little girl. And the mirrors were kind of like a half of an octagon. That's when you're in the chair, you know, so you could see all around you.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking in the mirror, she's cutting away, and I look in the mirror, and this girl literally is sleeping as she's standing up with scissors in one hand and my hair in the other hand.
Oh my.
Yes. I'm looking in the mirror like, what am I seeing here? Am I in a dream? Is this happening? And she's like literally falling asleep. And it's not from lack of sleep, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. This girl was on something.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So all of a sudden she just pops up. Ooh, oh my God, I'm so tired. And I'm looking at her like, bitch, do not mess up my hair. That's all I gotta say. Do not. Can I say that word? Do not mess up my hair. Let me tell you, a couple of times she was dozing off a little bit, but she nailed it, knocked it out, walked out of there. I felt good, confident, but I'm like, oh my God, because I saw from the corner of my eye another hairdresser watching her like a hawk.
Uh-huh.
So you know what I'm thinking? This bitch is going to lose her job.
Right.
So I said, oh my gosh, she's going to lose her job. There goes my girl. Because let me tell you something. I don't care what you're on. Just don't mess up my hair. She didn't mess up my hair. So I will go back to you. Call me crazy, but it's not easy to find somebody that can cut your hair really good, you know?
Right.
So it's slim pickings. So I was like, I don't care what she's on. Please don't lose your job.
Yeah, but you know what? Not to interrupt you, but like, honestly, artistic people, now don't get me wrong, I am not like advocating for drug use. But artistic people, I mean, for her to pass out in the middle is a little weird.
Oh my God, standing up.
Yeah, that's a little weird. But like, you know, a lot of artistic people, they smoke a little ganja,
I don't think that was ganja.
No, it makes them a little better at what they're doing. But that, I can't say for sure. So, okay, go ahead.
So you know, months go by and I'm like, let me call the salon, make my usual appointment. And of course,
I'm sorry. Good morning, Mr. Be Great. Go ahead.
Hola. So lo and behold, I say, I'm here to make an appointment with so and so. And they're like, so and so doesn't work here anymore. I knew it, damn it. Son of a bitch.
But you always got to get people's digits.
Yes, and I didn't, and you know, silly me, I should have done that day, knowing in the back of my mind that there's a possibility that this girl is going to lose her job.
Right.
And because of course the salon is not going to tell me where she went, because I asked. I'm like, well, do you know where she went? Because I will get in the car right now and go. Yeah, and they're like, no, but we'll get you with another girl. Yep. And I'm like, it's not going to be the same. And it wasn't. They got me with the worst girl ever. She wouldn't shut up. I just wanted to watch The Handmaid's Tale on my iPad and on my iPod with my headsets. And she kept talking to me where I had to keep pulling my headsets out. Like, what? You know? Like, can't you see I'm doing something? Just do my hair. Shut up.
Right.
And she was the worst. I mean, she was the absolute worst. So, you know, time goes by. I let my hair grow because I got nobody to cut it. I decided, you know, I was at work one day. I was bored out of my mind. I go on Yelp and I said, I'm going to look up the reviews for this salon because they're terrible. You know, the one girl that was good is gone. So I just started.
And was on drugs.
Exactly. And exactly. So it's like, so I'm reading the reviews and so many people were giving the girl the druggie, the one that was falling asleep, so much accolades and praise that she was the best. It was her and someone else, but I wasn't paying attention to who the other person was. I was just like, yeah, she was amazing. And it was guys, it was girls. So, she had a reputation of, being really good at what she does. So I left a comment. I said, yeah, where is she? I don't care where she is. I'll travel. I don't care how far. And months go by and I didn't get an answer. But this one guy answered and he said, hey, I know who she is and here's her full name. You can find her on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Instantly, I went on Facebook and I found her and I sent her a picture of when she cut my hair, how it looked. I said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I've been looking for you and I need a haircut.
Right.
Where you been? So she's like, well, I'm getting married and I don't have a chair. I'm not in the salon anymore. But
Right.
my husband's supposed to install one in like our garage, basement, whatever.
Right.
So as soon as I get one, I will let you know. And I'm like, that's not going to help me right now.
Right.
So she tells me, she's like, but I have a friend who, she's really good, but she's in Beacon. And I said, nah, forget it. Now I'll just wait till you get a chair. Let me know, keep me posted. Months go by, and then, like maybe a couple of years go by and I'm desperate. I need a freaking haircut. So what do? I bite the bullet. I reach out to her on Facebook. Give me the number of the girl in Beacon. I'll check
I
her
don't get
out.
why that was a big deal anyway, though, because to do a haircut, you could wash your hair. She could cut your hair in your backyard. I mean, like, I don't see why she wouldn't.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, girl,
That doesn't
I'll
make
bring
any sense.
all I need is a kitchen chair. I mean, it
That's
doesn't
it.
happen. Yeah, but again, let's remember she's a recovering addict. So I'm
Oh,
thinking that's gotta be the excuse. Anyway, she never went back to, cutting hair. So I made the appointment. She sends me this link to make the appointment because now everything's a link. You
yep.
call them. And I made the appointment and I'm just like, man, I really hope this girl does a good job. So I go out to Beacon, nice salon, and she was amazing. We spoke. She looked at my hair, examined it, this and that. And she did what the other girl did. She took what I said and magnified it 100 times. And I walked out of there feeling sexy, confident. Heads are going to turn when I walk out of this place. And heads did turn. People were complimenting me on my haircut. And I'm
Nice.
like, that's what's up. And that's how I met my hairdresser.
Oh my God, you're so funny. Well, you know what? Listen, that's a good segue into like the other things that I was thinking of. So first of all, thank you for those of you that are just tuning in to us. You're listening to Coffee Talk with Karen and Emery. We are live right now on Real Talk with Karen Stacy.podbean.com, or you can always catch the replay on any of your favorite podcast platforms, but we are live and you can interact. So if you are tuned in, please drop us a comment so we know you're here and interact with us. So today's topic is, how do you meet people? So I'm going to go, Emery just told us a story about how she met her hairdresser and so forth. And I'm going to go, like, I'm flipping the tables here. And I'm just going to say in general, how do you meet people? Because, back in the day, right? And I don't know, I mean, I'm going to be 55 in another like week or something. So I think, yeah, I'm in my feels on that. But I'm like, I find myself saying this a lot, and I never thought that this was old, right? I don't feel like I'm old, but yet I keep saying this because, like, it's
But back when
true.
we were 20, we were like, damn, 55 is old.
But things were, yeah, but you know what? But things were also, I mean, and I'm sure every generation says this, right? Things were different. And so like, I just like meeting people is so challenging because, I don't know, like there are different, like, nobody wants to talk to another person all the time. Like, it was funny. I was at, where did I go? AAA, because I had to do the, I was the real ID crap, right? And so
Oh
you
yeah, I
can
got
go,
my enhanced driver's license recently.
so you can do it if you're a AAA member, right? So I go in and it was crazy, but it wasn't as bad as a DMV.
Hmm.
And there's this guy there, and let me tell you something. He was a really good looking guy and like a different look than most, right?
Hmm.
And like I'm thinking, like I talk to everybody and anybody ish. Like I stay in my lane, but I'm friendly if somebody approaches me, unless of course I don't know, like, depending on the situation. I'm still a Bronx girl, so like keep your distance.
Hmm.
But how do you meet people? Because like I watch, like those of you that follow my shows, I love, Mel Robbins. And one of the things she says is, like just make the first move, talk to somebody, exchange
Hmm.
it. And I'm sitting there now. My son was with me, but he was outside at the moment. So now I'm like, So, like it's still awkward. Maybe it's just more awkward when it's a male and a female, that like having a conversation, like breaking that ice or whatever is like, especially depending on like the situation. So like meeting people is challenging because like all of a sudden, like I got a big mouth and I'll talk to everybody and anybody, but now I see like a guy that's, like a good looking guy, and all of a sudden I don't even, like, it's not like I'm saying to him like, marry me. I mean, it's like you just to even like all of a sudden you don't say hello. Like I don't know, like,
Yeah.
like it's so strange.
I
And
think he made you nervous.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, and that's what happens sometimes, right? Is that we
Yeah.
get almost intimidated, right?
It's like when we were younger and you walk past a group of guys.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna, hey,
Yeah,
mommy,
yeah,
hey.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden you start walking funny, or you think you're walking funny because they're staring at you. You ever feel that?
Well, I wouldn't. Yes, I know
Like
what
you
you're
think you're
saying.
just wobbly or
You're,
whatever. You're just
well, I
walking
don't
like, oh my
know.
God.
When that happened, I would tune up a little bit, like, all right, yeah, go ahead, but yeah, uh-huh. And then the funny thing is then when you walk by those groups and they don't say nothing, you're like, damn.
I know. I'm losing my touch.
Meanwhile, when they do it, you're rolling your eyes, like really, like, ugh.
And
And
then you
then,
get the ones that are like so inappropriate,
yeah,
where
yeah.
they're just nasty
Yeah,
and you want to
exactly.
spit in their
Disrespectful.
face.
Right.
Yeah.
Disrespectful when you want to crack
Disrespectful.
them.
Yeah. It's like, come on, really?
But it is really challenging meeting people because, and then you got the flip side where I was saying this like with, the younger generation. I'm like, what is the presidents to come going to be? They're going to text or email the country to let them know what's going on because nobody knows how to communicate with one another
I
anymore.
know. They don't,
So but even us, like we're all a little I feel like we're all a little disjointed
yeah.
because meeting people is not easy to do. And even like, again, Mel Robbins talks about like even making new friends, right? Because as we get
Hmm.
older, our lives take a turn, are different angles. And the people that you hung out with, you might not be hanging out with anymore. Whether, you're married, whether you're single, that may change. Evolution, you may be in a different place than that person is. And you just kind of grow out of each other. Geography, Mel Robbins
Yeah,
talked about that too. Geography is huge.
hmm
Most of my best friends don't live anywhere near me. And it's really challenging. I mean, that said, you're more, you plan better, so that when you do, so you can get to see each other, but it's really hard. And like my girlfriend is in from Florida, and now like, we go out for like 3 days straight, and I can't even see straight afterwards. And yeah, but it's like funny story, like we were out. So she was in actually 2 weeks ago and we were out. Now
hmm
I observe a lot, and I'm friendly when I think you're okay. And it's amazing to me, how many guys, and I wanted to have I wanted to do this show with Anthony because I wanted a male's perspective. But I was standing there, not with the puss on my face, not, being nasty. And I'm just like looking at it, and everybody, these guys are coming up to me. They're like, "What's your deal?" I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
Yeah, what's your deal? And I'm like, I don't know what you mean, and it's kind of like, and it's so strange how then we were at a place the following day, and this guy, and I'm not saying money makes a person, but this guy, you could tell, had more money than God. And he looked at me and he was trying to talk to me, and my girlfriend was next to me, and I don't remember the exact thing, but he was like, he says to my girlfriend, she scares me.
What?
And I'm like, and that was like, I had this bewildered look on my face, like, huh? I scare you? And I'm thinking, this was not a young guy.
What is that supposed to mean?
Right. This was an older man. And so I think I mentioned it to one of my guy friends, I don't even remember. And I was like, what does that even mean? And they're like, well, it, what did he say? Oh, that was what he was trying to, that was like, oh, I think it was my father, actually, I said it to. And he was like, well, that was like his, his pickup line. And I'm like, yeah, no, and he was like, well, he probably didn't think about it that, the way you're thinking about it. And I'm like, well, the way I'm thinking about it is, if I scare you, then that tells me a lot about you, right? What would your impression of she scares me? How would you interpret that?
I don't know. I have no idea. I would just walk away because you don't even know me to be scared of me.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. What the hell do you do? Do I look weird to you? Like, do I have horns coming out of the top of my head? I don't understand. What is it about me? Let's do like Joe what's his name? Pesci.
Oh.
What is it about me that scares you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I know, but you see, here's the thing. I got no patience for that because
that's why I would have walked away.
I did. I just looked at him, and then he was lurking again. And
that's creepy.
Thinking, like, he wasn't creepy. I just think, again, people don't know how to meet people. So clearly he was there to try to meet somebody, and clearly he thought he was getting somewhere with me, I guess. And
was that his pickup line?
That's what my father was saying. So I'm like, so you know what? How about something normal? Or even if he said oh my goodness, or whatever, you know what? How about the old, let me give the guys out there a little bit of advice. How about, can I get you beautiful ladies a drink?
I was just going to say that, but I'm like, if you're in a bar, the right thing is, can I buy you a drink? Duh.
I mean, just that's just a thought. Because, how a bit, that's it. Can I buy you a drink, or, whatever? If somebody said something and you get a weird look back, you need to retrace your steps and say oh my God, okay, that didn't work. Let's go to the other thing.
When you think about it, if that was his open line, it's scary. That's serial killer stuff, Like, you scare me. What kind of pickup line is that?
Look at Orlando said a drink, get a flower somewhere from a gas station. Yeah, well, there was no time for that.
Or even a compliment.
We were out, right? He could say, you scare me, because, he could have, when he didn't get the response after that, if he had any game, he would have backtracked and go, you know what? I think I should go buy you a drink, or, whatever, something. So I think that meeting people is really very challenging. I don't know what their situation is. You don't know what anybody's situation is, right? So
Yeah.
when I used to go out, like, okay, so you're a Bronx girl, I'm a Bronx girl. So when I was younger and I would go out, I would always say, I don't understand why nobody ever comes over and talks to me. And my friends would say, Karen, do you see your face? Like, nobody's walking over to you because you scare them. So,
What? So a friend of yours told you
oh
that?
yeah, this was, I mean,
So
when,
now you get why he said
no,
it.
but this was when I was like 20 years old, right? 21 years old. So like I learned how to fix my face, right? Because you got to fix your face. So I get it. And if you look at, and what it was that I never trusted people. So I would walk around and I would look at people like, don't even freaking think about it. So I was putting that into the universe, right?
Yeah.
So I recognized that. So when they said, well, you're kind of unapproachable, like if somebody comes up and they actually have the balls to come over and talk to you, they'll see that you are not, that way, but, how are they going to make the play? So, good morning. I don't know how to say abode. So there's somebody just joined me.
Avowed.
Abowed. Okay, we'll go with
Right?
that. And Bella, good morning.
Hello.
So like I have learned to fix my face so that I, I don't want to come off that way, but I have really, really strong energy. I have a strong personality and it precedes me. And there is nothing I can do about that. So only the weak survive only the strong survive in my radius. And there's nothing I can do about that. I've learned that this is just who and what I am. But I find it so funny because so then like the night before I met the guy that I scared, the guys were like, the two guys that talked to me were married. And they go, you know what? You're listening in Libya. I love it. Oh my God. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, you're getting some real live, New York stuff going on right here. We're talking about how you meet people. And I'm talking about something that happened a couple of weeks ago. And, so they said, they go, you know what? They go, well, I'm talking to you because I'm married. So I'm not even phased by it. He goes, but these guys, they ain't coming over and talking to you. There's no way. And I'm like, why? And they're like, no, don't get me wrong. You're lovely. Like, I'm really enjoying hanging out with you, but I'm married. So I don't care. I'm not trying to, go anywhere. They're like, but these guys, they ain't coming up and talking to you. I'm like, oh, wonderful. That's really nice. So I don't know. We're in such a different place in the world. I know you've been married like, 100 years. And so it's different. And, I was married, for many years before I was widowed. So like, I understand both sides of it. And that's why like I have tried to change where I smile at people,
Right.
Or whatever. And, I got no problem talking to somebody, but don't be a douche,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a good opening. Just smile. You
yeah,
smile. If he smiles, you smile, and then, you take it from there. But to just go straight into, you scare me. I mean,
yeah.
that's creepy right there.
So like, I just want to know, where do you go with that?
I don't know. I
Right.
guess, feel them out a little bit. So
No,
are
no,
you,
no. There's no feeling. No,
okay.
I mean, if I scare you, then I'm out, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
absolutely.
I don't know what that means because
What
first of
kind of
all,
man says
right.
that?
And again, I have a strong personality and, I am a people person. And obviously with what we do and everything, we're around a lot of people. So, like I had like one of the guys that I know, he's like, oh, I saw you're with everybody. Yeah, I see you take pictures, you got pictures with all these guys. I go, hello. What do you think? I'm banging them all? No,
Oh my
I
God,
do
yeah.
things. People want to take pictures. How many pictures when you do a gig? How many pictures do you take?
Oh my God, unbelievable,
Right,
countless. I can't even count. And I'm more than happy to do it
right,
because, it's part of being an artist, being a singer, and being around people, different personalities.
right,
So, you have to please your fans.
right.
Yeah. So,
And there's
but
nothing
I'm a people person, even if I wasn't an artist or a singer,
right.
I just, I try to make the other person comfortable because growing up, nobody liked me. Girls didn't like me. They just thought I was,
Hello.
yeah. So I found
I
that
still
if you
battle with
make them
that.
laugh, yeah, I just found like if I made a joke and make them laugh and break out of that shell, they will feel comfortable and say, hey, she's kind of cool,
Right.
I could hang out with her. And I always try to do that. Sometimes, I could be a little extra, but that's just my personality. I'm not so introverted, I like, I'm loud,
Right.
when I see my friends, it's yo, what's
Mhm.
up?
Mhm.
It's that kind of greeting, and some people might find it to be loud and obnoxious, but that's just, that's the Bronx girl in me.
Yes. No,
I
and
can't
and
help it.
and you're Latina, right?
Exactly, yeah. You know how
That
we are.
yeah. So that right there takes it up about like 30 decibels.
Yep.
Latin people and Italian people are decibel like 50.
Yeah, we're
Um,
loud. We're from Latin descent, so yeah, we are loud.
it's definitely, but yeah, I mean, I just think that if people could just be a little more, I don't want to, forgiving and maybe not make like assumptions, right? Because what happens when you assume,
Uh-huh. Oh,
you,
we know.
right? So like, I feel like if people would just kind of, you know, go like just be a little like non-judgmental, just like walking in and being like, you can't expect people to just be, I mean, there are people like that are just like one of the girls that I was with that night. She's the type of person, she talks to everybody. And my other girlfriend
Ugh.
says, you and me are such like, we're bitches. So we need like these people around us because they break the ice, because if not, nobody will come over and talk to us.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
funny because, and then again, I think that married people go out and have a different vibe than single people.
Absolutely.
That
Polar
said,
opposites.
well, yes and no, because you know what? I don't act any differently now than I did when, I was married. I still carry myself exactly the
Yeah,
same
I guess
way.
you got a point
I
there.
still carry myself exactly the same way. The only thing is that now because even if I'm talking to a guy, it's my prerogative whether I find them interesting or not interesting. So, or I'm attracted to them or I'm not attracted to them. So it's no different, like if I'm married, I still have the same outlook when I'm talking to somebody. It's
That's
whether
true.
like just because I'm single doesn't mean that you have leeway to me. I tell you if you have leeway to me or not. So I'm going to talk to you as though I'm taken. And then, if there's something that I may or may not want to pursue, then I would go about that differently. But I carry myself the same way because I just feel it's like a respect kind of a thing. Like
Right.
people feel like, oh, well, if somebody's single, that they could look upon them a certain way or that they're available. You don't know. Maybe I'm under, maybe I got friends with benefits and I'm just sleeping with one guy and you don't have a shot. You don't know.
Right.
So it's a very, I don't know. I think that people shouldn't be so presumptuous at times, and just treat everybody with respect. But I don't know what happened where it really does. It's like so awkward because you would think people from our generation that are not so tech savvy and some people that are more old school, if you will, that they would be the ones. Like, I don't understand what happened to men. And I'm not saying this because I'm looking for a free ride. So if anybody's listening to this and they're like, oh, women just want money and blah, blah. No, it's about like, it's old school. Old school is when we grew up, and correct me if I'm wrong, Emery, when we grew up, that's what happened. You were somewhere, old school, men, what, let me get you a drink. If you
I have
walked up
water.
to, you okay?
Yeah. I got my water.
If you walked up to the bar, and you went to get yourself a drink, and there was a man standing next to you, they might buy you that drink because
Right.
that's how it was back in the day. Now, forget about it. And these are old school people. And I don't know if it's because they think that women are, they're gold diggers now or whatever, but it's a really crazy world out there. So, I'm going to say for those people, and you know what I used to love to do? I used to love when I was younger, I would send a guy a drink. One of my
That is,
girlfriends did it.
I love that idea. I think that's wonderful. I love when girls do that, women
One of
do
my
that.
girlfriends did it. I thought it was the classiest thing I ever
It
saw.
is. That's a really cool thing to do. You don't
And
get that a lot. There's
give,
not a lot of women that would do that or would think to do that because they just think, oh no, the guy should buy me a drink. But there's nothing wrong with you paying for a drink.
There
It's
isn't,
it's
but
it's a smooth move.
at the same token, then you gotta like have game to follow it up. Now, there have been guys that have sent me drinks, right? And I am not interested. So I will raise my glass to them and do a cheers and say like
Yeah.
a thank you and leave it be, or if,
If
you
you're
know,
lucky enough, because sometimes you get that guy that buys you a drink and thinks he gets to hang out with you all
yep,
freaking night. And
yep,
no,
yep.
uh-uh.
Well, luckily, as we just discussed, I don't really give out that vibe. So,
Yeah, a simple like gesture, like thank you for the drink, and I'm gonna
correct,
turn my head over here and not look at you for the rest of the night.
correct. And you know what? And that's all well and good too, because everybody, if you're doing it for what you're going to get in return, then don't do it. You do it because it's the right thing to do that you feel, and it opens up a door. Great. If it's getting closed right after, it is what it is. But I
Yeah.
think that it's really hard to meet people. And now when you talk about meeting people, they're always stories. Like you just told the story about your hairdresser. I told the story about, these guys and everything. Like you meet people, this online stuff is just nuts.
I gotta
Um,
say, like you said, I've been married for a very long time. So I married my husband when it was just starting these dating websites and stuff like that. So I've never been on one, but it makes me curious. Like, what if I did go on one? What kind of person would they match me up with?
they don't match you with anybody. You match yourself. So
But
the
I
way,
thought Match.com did that.
Nah, not really. What it is you scroll through. I mean, the only one I think that matches you is oh, I forgot the name of it.
See, that goes to show you what I know about
Yeah. No,
dating
there's
websites.
one and it was really expensive, and
You have to pay.
for the particular one I'm thinking of. For most of
Uh,
these, there's paid things. Match you have to pay for. Match isn't free. The other ones are like Bumble and Tinder and I guess Plenty of Fish. I mean, I don't know, what's out there at this point, but when I was
Funny
doing,
story. So my friend, I have a gay friend, um, guy, and I'm talking to him on the phone one day, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is
that's
funny.
okay.
This is funny. So he's a gay guy, and I call him up one day, and I'm like, "Hey, so what's going on? How's your love life doing?" And he tells me, not so good, but that's okay because I got plenty of fish. And I didn't know what that was.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
know what that was. So I said, "So what are you saying? You're into women now?"
Oh my God.
And he paused for a minute and he just cracked up. He's like, well, I get it. I get what you're saying. And I'm
Emery,
like,
you
what the hell
sick.
is that?
You're
What is
sick.
plenty of fish?
You're sick.
I'm like, so what does that mean? You're converting teams? You're switching sides?
We got you.
I know, right? We
We
got you
got you. We
back.
got you. You're playing for our team now. What's going on?
Because
That's
when you
funny.
mentioned plenty of fish, it just brought me back that
That's
memory. And I'm
funny.
like, oh my God, that was so funny. Because
Oh my God.
he was cracking up hysterical. He's like, you're so freaking crazy.
That's hysterical. Yeah. And I mean, so to answer your question, you don't, what it is basically is you look at pictures. I talk about it like this is how I think of dating apps, and this is funny, but you know how like when you go to the restaurant and some of the restaurants have the dessert cart and
Yeah.
they come around and they show you and there's like 8 different desserts, right? So when so you go in and like, so now you're looking at all of these desserts and you're thinking, like I always get, tiramisu, and then you're like, oh,
Or
but look
creme
at that
brulee.
chocolate mousse.
A little
Oh,
creme
but they
brulee.
have carrot cake. Oh,
You
but
want
they have creme
everything.
brulee.
They
So
should
you
have like
want
little
everything. So
bites of
what happens?
everything.
So, but that is what they gear the dating sites like. So like, for instance, the one that Plenty of Fish one, I mean, I haven't been on it in 100 years, but what they would do, if I recall, is when you were answering messages, right? Because people would message you if they were interested. So you would answer messages, and on the top was a carousel. So while you're trying to answer messages, there's a carousel of men or women, depending on what you're into, that keep coming up. So it's like, I got the tiramisu, but now you're throwing the mousse, you're throwing the creme brulee, you're throwing all these things in front of me. So now I'm like, maybe I don't want the tiramisu, or I'm going to eat the tiramisu, but let me see if I could get a bite of that brownie. You know what I mean? And that's like how it's like presented. And it's just, this is what it is. It's just keep swiping, keep swiping, keep swiping. And I remember a couple of times I was talking to people, and clearly they were talking to multiple people besides me. And the text came through, the message came through, and it was meant for someone else. So like, how am I supposed to take you serious? It's like, I'm doing a show with you, but I have my other show with Brenda that I'm doing too, like at the same time. Like, you don't do that.
He's already cheating.
You don't do that. Well, yeah, I know. But it's more just the way of the world. Think about it.
It's like, dude, we haven't even met, and you're already talking to other
Right.
women.
But think about it. Think about it. When you watch TV now, when a commercial comes on, what do?
I either get up and pour me a glass of wine, or
There you go. Or you go on your phone and
yeah.
you're looking. So the point is that before we had these damn phones and everything, people would watch something. What would you do when a commercial came on? You would start surfing and click the channels 100 times to see if you could find something else in that 4 minutes, and then go back to your show, right? But now we have our phones and social media and all of these other things, texting, this, that, takes over. So we're constantly, we have windows open, so many windows open now in our own heads. So it gets confusing. And that's the reason why, you got people talking to multiple people. Maybe it's making them feel better. Maybe it's making them feel wanted, whatever the case may be. But, I mean, it's hard meeting people because people just don't know how to interact.
It's all this technology. Everyone's hiding behind a screen.
Yes. And
that's the problem.
And so, and the funny thing is that after, my husband had passed, and, my girlfriend made me go on these sites or whatever. And then I finally was going out, if you will. And I said, oh my God, I feel like I'm on the dating site. I said, I think this guy. I saw all these people in real life that were on the dating site. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is where we live now. So if you go out, you're going to see the same people as if you're just online. The only thing with doing it online is, if you're going out in Westchester, you're not meeting people from Long Island, or, vice versa.
Right.
So it's just, it's a very different world that we live in, and meeting people, but look, social media helped you because you connected back, going back to the conversation when you spoke earlier about how
That's a really good point. You're
how
right.
you met your hairdresser. Had you not had the ability to go on socials, you would have never found them.
Right. I also probably wouldn't be back in the freestyle game if it wasn't for social media, because I was able to reconnect with old DJs and producers and other artists.
Yeah. No, it's a
So
great means. It's just that you can't lose your social skills or not have any social
yeah,
skills.
it's
Um,
true, because when we moved to our house, there were so many kids playing outside, and that was because they were too young to have cell phones. As soon as they got cell phones, you don't see them outside anymore, riding their bikes or,
mhm.
roller skating, skateboarding, jump roping, or riding chalk on the sidewalk. It's like, what happened to all the kids that were here? There were so many, and
It's a
they all
different
have
world.
phones. They all have cell phones now.
It's a
My
different
daughter's
world.
one of them. My daughter's one of them. I remember her looking out the window. Oh, mom, oh, Brianna's outside. Can I go outside? Sure, go, bye, go. Now it's like, why don't you go outside?
I know.
Get off the phone.
I know.
No, not right now. I'm
I
like,
know.
oh my
And that's
God.
my point is like, and even with adults, I hate to say it. At one point when I was out with my friends, everybody was on their phones. And I'm
Yes, when you
like,
go to restaurants, instead of talking to one another, they're all on their phones, and it's
yeah.
like, can't we put it away for 5 freaking minutes
Yeah,
and
and
have a
then it's gonna
conversation?
be, but then you get the excuse of the kids or the this or the that. I have all of those things going on too. But you know what? I know, first of all, if my son is in dire straits, of course, nothing else matters.
Of
But
course, yeah.
but when I'm out, that's my time. And
Right.
if I'm out with someone else, I expect that to be our time.
Yep.
And I do not pick up my phone.
Unless it's
That's
to take pictures.
right, of course. But I'm
Pictures
just
and videos is okay, but to
right,
be,
or at a random time, but to be on it basically, the entire time is rude.
and
And
it's like, why go out if that's what
right,
you're going to be doing?
right.
You go out with your friends or dinner because you want to be in each other's company. So put the damn phone down and let's talk.
Actually, I have a funny, now you with your funny stories. Now I got a story. Um, So I did an event like about a year ago, and there was, one of my dear friends. He brought a little crew of guys with him, and I happen to know them all. And they're sitting there. I felt like we were at a sweet 16. There were beautiful women there, and there were these guys there. And I look over, the guys are on their phone and they're on like, I don't know, Bumble or whatever, and they're swiping. And I turned around and I looked at my friend and I said, are you kidding me right now? This is what they're doing. He's like, Karen, go introduce them to those girls. I'm like, introduce them. So I introduced them to the girls and they still went right back to what they were doing. And I'm
Oh
like, let
my
me get this
God.
straight. You're out. There are women around you. But again,
Yeah.
it's that carousel. It's the freaking dessert platter, because there are women in front of you that if you just talk to them, even if they're not a love match, maybe you could build some type of a connection with
Yeah.
them, right?
Actual flesh and blood right in your face.
Yeah.
Hello.
And I need that. Like I like when I'm around men, like I love the way they smell. I can
Yeah.
feel their testosterone.
Well, I love the way my husband smells.
But yeah, just I'm saying in general, like when I love that. Like, and that's the whole thing is like, you can't get a vibe on somebody. You can get somewhat of a vibe, but unless they're standing there and they're in front of you, that don't lie.
Yeah.
That don't lie. And so, behind a screen, people could bullshit their way through anything. But when you're live and you're going, you're feeling the energy of that person, they could be the hottest person in the world and you're next to them and you're like, "Ugh, I'm not feeling this." And
And
or flip
that,
side, they could be maybe not the most attractive person in the world, but their energy is like awesome. And now you want to be around them.
right. But that I think is also a lack of confidence when you're hiding behind that phone screen, whatever, instead of getting up and actually talking to a human being.
Sure.
It's like, what's going on with you that you don't have this confidence? You think she's
True.
going to shut you down or something like
True.
that? And if she does shut you down, you walk away like an adult. No big
Right.
deal.
Yeah.
Like it's just, this immature mentality that, being afraid to actually approach someone and strike up an adult conversation, because not everybody can do that. Some people that start talking about nonsense and you're like, what? No wonder you hide behind your phone. You're
Yeah.
an idiot, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I think people are just so detached at this point, and trying to meet people and interact with people, it's challenging. It really is. And that goes for, like I said, everything. It's friendship, it's, romance, whatever, because, even if you're out, right? Like, making new friends is challenging. You make new friends by maybe being with your friends and then meeting their friends. And then you kind of expand, like most of the people that I've become friendly with, it kind of happened by default because like it was one of my friends or,
Yeah.
something to that effect. Rarely, or like you say, if you go and, have a service done and, you click with the person or whatever, but it's hard to expand your friendship. And then even when you do, like I met a girl, a couple of months ago, and like we hung out, and, I really enjoyed her company, and like we were in touch, and then all of a sudden we weren't really in touch. And I'm like, like I was a little disappointed because I felt like, I thought this was really going somewhere. And, it really didn't. I mean, not that we aren't, friends, but the development went, it wasn't
It
like I
has
got
to be both
ghosted.
ways. It can't just
Yeah,
be one person reaching out all the time.
right,
And you know what I mean? It's nice to get a phone call or a text if I'm constantly calling and texting you, because I feel like I don't want to bother you all the time.
right,
But you can reach out to me and let me know that, yeah, I want to be your friend and I like your company and our conversation. So it has to be a two-way street.
right. But
Otherwise, you're just like being this annoying person that
yeah,
keeps,
but it has to be reciprocated though, because you could
exactly.
say that, but if you're not doing it, then it's, but at the same token, we all know that everybody has, everybody's busy, and
Yes.
you can't always take things that personally, because 9 times out of the 10, it got nothing to do with you.
Right.
But at this,
Everybody has a life,
right.
you don't know what's going on in it.
Right. So it's challenging, but that's why I'm saying, like, meeting people, getting back to our topic, is really a challenging thing, because, there aren't a lot of means in which to make these connections. So I guess when you make those connections, you got to make them last, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're
But,
right.
but that was definitely a funny story with your hairdresser. And to recap on things, listen, to meet people, like, don't say stupid things to people. Like, you gotta like interact. And if you're a man, and even a woman, and you're, especially a man, if you don't have the best game, and you know that you don't really have the best game, just get a woman a drink, and just, can I buy you a drink, or, something kind goes a long way. And you know what? Even if the woman isn't interested, they're going to probably at least be human to you.
Right.
And you may just have a conversation or whatever it is, but you gotta take the cues a little bit, and like, again, going back to my experience, do not tell a woman that she scares you.
Yeah, that's not game.
And at least if, like, I might say that to a guy, like, that's like is 6'4" or whatever and has big muscles, and I would go, you kind of scare me, but I would say it in a funny way where, that would be different, right? But
Or don't say it as your first encounter. If you go on a few dates and you get to know that person and then they say, you scare me, but it could be because of a good reason, or you
right,
scare me because I know I could fall in love with you and you're going to
correct,
break my heart, type of
correct.
situation. So
Correct.
yeah, there's a different way of doing it, but don't let that be the first thing you say to me because it makes no sense. You don't know me, and I'm not scary. Because I'm thinking, am I ugly? What the hell are you talking? Do I
Yeah.
look like a
Well,
devil?
now I'm scary because now I'm giving you the look of death. So now
Yeah,
you better
exactly.
get moving because now I am scary because
Exactly.
I'm looking at you like you got to be kidding me, My father was like, he just should have taken out like his platinum card and like, and I was like no, I'm only kidding, but it's true. Like I said, like I would have said if he had any like,
Game.
self-awareness or even awareness, when he saw that landed bad, I would have been like, you know what? Let me try that again. I would love to buy you a drink or, like, wow, or something where you realize that didn't land right and you recant your statement and come out again. Then you see the person has personality. Then you see like where it goes from there. But that was just very funny to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my advice, so what would be your
So did
advice?
you get his number?
Yeah. Yeah, I got his number all right. 999, never mind. Yeah, okay.
So you guys going on your second date or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. We booked the hall. I booked the hall already. I'm in it to win it.
He
Scary
sounds like a
Mary.
keeper. He sounds like the one.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's a lot of that. It's running rampant right now. What can I tell you? It is what it is. But anyway, so anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen and Emery. Today we were discussing how do you meet people. This is just Coffee Talk. We're shooting the shit, bringing you in on our little conversation, trying to lighten up your day a little because sometimes we just need to not take it so seriously and laugh and roll with it. So make sure that if you like the show, you hit that follow button. Again, it's Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com. And you can like and follow. And this way, you know when we are going live. We also share everything on social media. So follow us on social media as well. And, I think Emery is coming back and this is gonna be a little thing for us, right, Em?
Oh yeah, totally. I love these conversations.
Awesome.
Especially when you have these funny stories that nobody knows about and you get a good laugh out
It's
of it.
good
So yeah.
coffee talk.
Absolutely. Even though I'm not drinking coffee
I
right
know.
now, because my coffee was like at 7 o'clock this
Yes.
morning, and if I have more than one cup, and it was a really big, tall iced coffee,
Nice.
so I'm wired. I'm still
Nice.
wired, so I need some water to come down from
I hear that. I hear that.
yeah,
I'm with you. Well, look, I didn't even know what day it was or what time it was. I knew
yeah.
I had the show, but I don't know what. I don't know what I'm telling you, I lost it. So for everybody this morning, I apologize that we were a few minutes late for the show. That is not normally my style. I was heavily involved in, wig, customizing and totally just did
She was
not.
getting wiggy with it.
I was getting wiggy with it. Yeah, exactly. So I could scare more people. Well, happy Friday, everybody. And Emery, thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to our next show.
Me too. Thank you, everybody.